Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I'm here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. So you guys, we made it to the finale episode. I thought this was such a great episode. I'm going to be covering the scene where Garcelle has a party at her house with the Birkins and Bubbles, which is just a party I would like to go to. Couldn't afford those Birkins, but listen, I'm so grateful because, as most of you know, I'm just about to have a baby and we were just so hoping as a community that I would not have this baby before the finale. We know where our priorities lie. Thankfully, here I am and I can cover it, so I'm so excited. I hope I get these videos out in time for you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking the videos. We have surpassed 1,800 subscribers. Pinch me, it doesn't even feel real. We are on the road to 2,000, so I can't even believe it, you guys, but thank you so much for subscribing, for liking the videos, for doing all of those stuff that YouTube likes. I really appreciate this community and I love your comments, so keep them coming. YouTube also told me that I unlocked a feature called Super Thanks. Some of you have asked for like a Venmo or a Cash App from me, which I'm like, what? No, you don't need to do that. But if you guys feel so inclined to add to my Starbucks fund and the fund of, you know, all of my children's activities, then you are welcome to do a super thanks. Just hit the little button, super thanks. As this channel builds, I will be able to, you know, spend more time doing it as opposed to my other job, so I'll be able to put out more videos for you guys. Hopefully we can do like a membership in the future. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but listen, that's how I roll. All that aside, you guys, let's just jump right in.
The lioness.
Is it good?
Who makes these boots?
Versace.
Versace. I love you. That's a mini. See, that's the mini.
How cute is that?
That's a mini. That's a mini.
My first one I've ever bought.
Hello.
Well, hello.
Okay, so it's just a little thing, but I absolutely love when they put prices on the chyrons. It's just adding to the housewives thing of like, these women have so much more than all of us. It's wish fulfillment stuff, you know? She's carrying this little bag she just happened to pick up for $5,000, which a lot of us would be like, I can't even imagine. They add that in just to kind of give us that wish fulfillment, give us that Real Housewives stuff. And I personally love it.
No.
Oh, no. Patrick, I promise, nobody's gonna threaten anyone.
You ever call me a liar again? I'm coming for you.
They are fighting cats and dogs. Hi!
Okay, so I absolutely love that flashback of Patrick. It kind of gives us more context into Patrick. If you guys forgot, he was there at the party where, you know, Erica kind of threatened Sutton with that quip, and he just comes in.
They are fighting cats and dogs.
It gives us a little bit more character development on him, just that short little flashback. You know, he's not totally aloof to the drama, which I kind of like in any of our side characters.
Hi, Patrick. Nice to meet you. Let me give you the glove.
It's 35, it's just been refurbished, so it's really great.
She wore a Birkin.
There's a Burke.
I mean, she's the queen.
So you guys will see like in between scenes, especially in these like scenes where housewives are entering into a party, they use a lot of B-roll, which is like shots of the bags, shot of the price tag of the bags, drinks being served, food being served. All it is really setting the stage for us, giving us more of a feel of what it might feel like to be there, you know, what it might feel like all of those things are like almost like sensory experiences for you. If you see a good smelling food and you see a refreshing drink and you see this beautiful bag, you're like, ooh, it just feels luxurious. And that's what they're really trying to do, is just give you a better feeling. They're not just showing you stuff, they really want you to feel what it feels like to be there and to be, you know, grabbing the drink and looking at the bag and that sort of thing. So that's why they use that
I
B-roll.
mean, she's the queen.
This is Gautier Couture. This is all of the Hermes scarves.
No.
You did say you were gonna wear that.
When he was at her
And then they have that lower third where, you know, they've been showing the prices, but instead on this one they just say priceless to Sutton, which is basically like she probably said, I don't want to tell you the price, or she's like, it costs this much, but it's actually priceless. And so they like to have a little fun. The editors like to have a little fun with those lower third chyrons because, I mean, why not? It kind of makes us smile and yeah, it just gives us information.
when he was at her mess. Right.
Yes.
I love the baby doll dress. How old are we?
That's really gorgeous.
Aw, hi, darling.
I missed you guys.
This is cute. What is it?
Okay, so these entrances are light and breezy and fun, and like almost as an audience, we're being fooled into like, oh, we're back. Like everyone's getting along, like everything's happy again. And then they kind of do this like trick thing, which they're having fun. You know, it's the finale episode. They're having fun with it. Sutton picks up a bag, and then you hear the music come in, and it kind of comes in ominous.
What is it?
The same sort of music cue as they would use if they were about to start a fight or an argument or something like that, like something serious. They're actually going to use it here to kind of set the stage like, and I don't know if they do this on purpose, but I do think it sometimes confuses your audience a little bit. Like, wait, I'm hearing that music. Like, why do I feel all of a sudden like trouble is brewing? We're about to see that it's kind of like phony, you know, fun trouble. Sometimes they do that just to switch it up. Just like we talked about before, contrast is so important in keeping your audience's attention.
Get your, I'm sorry, get your hand off that. Put your gloves on. Put your gloves on. Put your gloves on right now.
So, and as soon as the conflict, you know, sort of resolves where she runs to her and the audience is clued in like, oh, this is actually like a joke, then the music goes back to light again. But they kind of had that moment of mystery, suspense music, like, okay, what is actually going to happen? We kind of lean in, and then that happens and we're supposed to be like, oh, aren't they cute?
Right now.
Do something. Put your gloves on.
Thank you. How are you? This is a ladies' event. We put our gloves on.
I think it's actually pretty brave of Garcelle to be hosting this party.
By the way, like that guy who has all those bags and he's like the dealer, did you see him sort of get in between them like, this is funny, but stop. Like, that's how I would feel. I don't know what I would do if I like was the sales rep and had all those bags, or in the party that I'm going to be covering, the big party at Kyle's house where they use the $1 million jewelry. I would have panic attacks. I would be such a mess. If anyone even touched anything, I would be like, stop. Oh, also one thing I want to point out that I was noticing while I was watching this episode is you can see that the backgrounds of the ladies' houses complement their outfits in their confessionals. I've seen this, you know, in a lot of Housewives before, but I wanted to point it out to you guys. Like you can see Crystal right here. She's got this sort of like, I don't know if it's like a 60s type of vibe on her outfit. And then it sort of is complemented by the flowers in the background and by the colors in the background. And you guys know, again, that they're doing this on green screen and using like a picture from their house as the background. So they probably do some tweaking to sort of make it very pleasing to the eye. You don't want it to be clashing in any way.
Hosting this party without security guards around.
Get out of the way.
And let's be real, Kyle's gonna win this fight. But Sutton has a skinny leg. She can't run after Kyle.
I'm so sorry. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kyle. Hi. Hi. Mwah. Mwah.
And there they show, you know, Kyle's Birkin is $60,000. They also want to show that moment right there where Kyle's kind of going up to Lisa. She doesn't really acknowledge her at first. Lisa goes up to her almost like she's like, we're still cool, right? And Kyle's sort of like, what she's about to be talking about is how she feels seeing Lisa. And we can kind of see that in the scene as it plays out.
Scene, Rinna, it's awkward because now this situation has happened between Lisa and my sister.
I feel you can be very unkind too. I will say that. Oh, we're gonna go there. But see, you don't want to hear that. It's not about me right now. This is about you.
I need to have more champagne, too.
I'm hoping
So when they did that flashback, they actually cut that flashback a little bit different than it was in the original episode. I would know because I watched it several times preparing for the video that I did and also watched it with you guys. I just think it's interesting the reaction shots that they used in that flashback were more of Kyle like being contemplative, being like thinking, like almost like, I don't like the way this feels, when that wasn't, you know, the sum total of all of her reactions during that actual scene. She was more engaged, she was looking at Rinna, she was like, she was torn in a way, but the reaction shots they chose for that flashback were much more of her feeling uncomfortable.
I'm hoping the apology from Kathy was enough so that we can all move on, because selfishly, that makes my life easier.
Just, you know, we tried on like millions of dollars worth of jewelry. So tomorrow, if there's something you want to borrow, you want to show me what you're wearing, I can send a picture and see if there's something that will go with it.
Okay.
You guys are wearing a 52 karat diamond tomorrow.
Shut up.
So they took these two angles of that little interaction between Garcelle and Kyle. They have the one of just Kyle and Garcelle, and then they have the one sort of back behind where it's kind of looking through these decorations on the kitchen counter or whatever. That second angle where you kind of had the shot dirty from the decorations on the kitchen counter, I believe that was supposed to be Rinna's point of view. So Rinna is kind of standing over to the side, right? Where Kyle's usually like her bestie, they usually would be standing together. But you see Kyle kind of having some fun with Garcelle. They cut to Rinna and she looks, I don't know, maybe a little bit not too excited about them having fun together. And then you see that angle of them where they're kind of obscured. You can't really see them as well, but it is probably the point of view of Rinna, sort of that like, I'm removed, I'm far away from them, I'm not involved in this conversation, and in fact, I'm a bit left out.
Do you have a husband?
No, I am a butterfly. I go from flower to flower.
Good for you.
First, a good sex. That's my philosophy. But I can be a good friend. I have a wonderful hands for massage.
Okay, this killed me. I loved this little sequence right here where you have Patrick explaining his own sort of preferences, and then they show all this B-roll of sort of what's happening at the party. It almost feels like a hot mic moment, which, you know, we as viewers love watching these hot mic moments, and it feels like it because it feels like a private conversation going on. Now, if the camera was in their face, I guarantee you the conversation may have gone a little bit differently, and maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe they got the audio and they found it later and they were like, oh my gosh, this is gold. Or maybe a cameraman was picking it up and the sound guy was picking it up and he was like, just let them go, let them roll, don't go on their faces, because they're not main cast members. They're a little bit more side characters. I was just at like a birthday party and they had a photographer, and I was talking to my husband and we were just talking, and the photographer came along and I was like, you just kind of stop naturally. I wonder if they worry about that with some of these side characters who aren't as adept to the cameras being around them all the time. And they're like, okay, we don't want to put the camera on them because this right here is so juicy. We can use it for something. And then, so of course, instead of showing their faces doing it, they just put it over this B-roll of showing the party as it goes on. And to me, I thought it was just so funny, added such a nice little flavor to the scene.
Where's your drink? Well, he's too busy talking to Patrick. Where's her drink? Ooh la la.
We've already established that we are not going to be able to be anything more than friends.
Hello, lover.
And you can kind of actually see it right there when the camera turns around from Sutton and Garcelle, and to them, they almost are like, oh, we're just talking about that we're just gonna be friends. And you see Patrick's face, like, it's almost like they know that the cameras are on them. But people, when the cameras aren't on them, as we've seen with many hot mic moments, they act a little bit differently, a little bit less, you know, poised, or like a deer in the headlights, which it kind of looked like Patrick was.
Lover?
Are you getting one?
I like the yellow because that's my favorite color.
If you like the yellow, get the yellow. Garcelle, you had a Birkin birthday cake.
It's the closest I'll get to a Birkin.
Oh, no, it's not.
Bippity boppity boo. Turn the birthday cake into a...
I loved that little dissolve that they did between the cake and the actual yellow Birkin that, you know, Garcelle has her eye on, but she's not pulling the trigger on, which to me makes her very relatable. I don't know about you guys, but I will like put stuff in my Amazon cart and then just like leave it there for weeks and then be like, okay, finally I'm gonna do it. Now, mind you, those are things are like, you know, $29. It's the same vibes. It feels like Garcelle is like, I've got other things to take care of, and would it be too much for me to do this? And then of course her friend, which is the friend that we all need and want, who's like, just buy it, go for it. Life is too short, it's so fun.
Cake into a real Birkin.
That's a good number for that. You change your mind, sell it.
Smart.
You never will, but that makes you feel good. That's what I do.
And then they have that cute little moment between Kyle and Garcelle. What they're really doing with all of these moments in this light, you know, easy breezy party is they are establishing friendships between Kyle and the other ladies besides her little alliance. What do they call it? The Fox 4, 5, 6 or whatever. They're showing a lot of like kind of cute little moments between her and Garcelle, her and Sutton, and now, you know, the subject of it is just basically telling Garcelle, you know, get this $14,000 purse.
Get the bag! Get the bag!
Okay.
You'll make more money.
Vendu!
Later.
So,
I like the tote.
we have a soul.
I'm gonna join y'all.
Come sit.
I'm always so like interested in those tiny little things where close up on the taupe and black bag, and then you have Sutton being like,
I like the taupe.
it just gives us more of like, how does it feel to be there? What are people saying? You know, obviously it's very like a surfacey type of party so far. It looks like a blast, but it's very fun and surfacey, and like, you know, the conversations that are being had are like, what color bag do you like?
Come sit.
Was it something we said, Lisa?
How the kids? How's Portia?
Today she goes, Mom, look in the mirror.
Okay, so they show that little moment where Lisa is sitting outside and Cherie says, you know, is this something we said? They leave that moment in because obviously, just like we saw that shot before where it was kind of Lisa's POV of Garcelle and Kyle like talking and laughing, Lisa is feeling a little bit left out. So she's like kind of sitting on the porch and everyone else is sitting inside. They leave that in just to kind of show there's a little bit of a separation going on.
Look in the mirror, and I think she's my exact height, or maybe a little bit taller. I can't tell. I was like, you have slippers on.
It's horrible. My kids will go, you're so short, Mom.
My sister Kathy came over yesterday.
How is she?
Okay, so that little transition there, who knows if it really happened that way, but the way they edited it was a light moment to, okay, let's talk about the stuff that we're all dying to hear you talk about, Kyle, which is that Kathy came over and they talked about the situation in Aspen. But they start this conversation with sort of the light, like, oh my God, my kids are taller than me type stuff. And then it instantly goes into the more serious conversation. And I believe that the editors did that. There was probably a lot more talked about with that kid stuff, but they're like, we need to move past that quick and get to the good stuff.
She was good. She apologized.
For?
You guys went to bed, that's right.
We didn't go to the club.
She got upset and had a meltdown. You know, I came back yesterday and she apologized.
Oh, that's good.
I know that wasn't easy for her to say.
So it's interesting having Kyle explain the situation to Garcelle because she is totally unknowing. Unlike us as the viewers who kind of know everything that went down, saw the scene with Lisa, saw everything, Garcelle she didn't even know what went down in Aspen. So she is like almost like a blank slate, and we get to watch that from afar, a blank slate getting this information new. It's such a genius move to leave this piece in. They didn't have to, you know, they could have just gone straight to like where everyone knows it, you know, everyone knows what's going on, but they leave this piece in where Garcelle doesn't know because it kind of gives us a fresh perspective. And the way that she's kind of seeing it is just like, oh good, she had a meltdown and she apologized. Good. Great. Like, it's no big deal. It's providing a very big contrast to, you know, the narrative that seems to be coming from Lisa Rinna.
Say, I was terrible.
Patrick, now that you and Josh have become great friends, that means that you can come over to my house.
Does Rinna know she apologized?
Hi.
So they show those little moments going back and forth just because they want to show where the other ladies are, where Lisa Rinna is, basically just to give us a sense that like Garcelle and Kyle are alone in this conversation right now.
Hi. Rinna came over.
Oh, okay.
She said to my sister, I think you need to get help or something. And I was like, yikes, I don't think. And then Kathy was kind of silent. You said some things about everybody, not just Kyle. I don't want to say that you need help, Kathy, but I think you need some help. And I was like, oh God, let's just move on and accept the apology.
So they cut back to it just to remind us just how kind of awkward that conversation was at Kyle's house. Even though it was just a week ago that we saw the episode, the editors smartly do not think that all of the viewers are a bunch of nerds like you and I, where we watch the episodes and break them down and really like deep dive into them. They have to kind of show, like, remind the audience. Luckily, they don't do it too much. They don't do it where, like, you know, you feel like you're constantly watching flashbacks of stuff just to give story, but they do it enough just so that we can get in the mindset of, oh yeah, wow, that was an exaggeration, or it felt like, you know, very big at her house, and now Garcelle's reaction is a little bit less.
Accept the apology.
Yeah, she's your sister. In my family, there are 5 girls, so you know there's gonna be drama. If Kyle wants to sweep it under the rug to keep her family intact, then Rinna, butt out of it.
All roads lead back to me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so again, she's the blank slate, and her thoughts are, Rinna, get out of the situation. Like, we don't need you here. Like, get out of it, right? Now, I personally, you guys know all of my feelings on Rinna and this whole situation if you've seen my previous episodes. But honestly, like, If Rinna's truly hurt by this situation, and if it was like truly a traumatic experience, like she saw stuff, like if there was like physical stuff going on with her, like I don't know, we'll never know what actually happened, but like I don't think like pushing her towards, you need to get over it and stop talking like it's all about Kyle and Kathy, because it's not. Maybe she felt terrible because Kathy said a bunch of bad stuff about her. We don't actually know, but I think by showing Garcelle's confessional, the editors and the producers are giving us a nod and a wink, like this is being blown out of proportion because a very sane, relatable cast member on the show feels this way. Kyle's feeling this way. It feels like more and more people are feeling this way, including probably most of the audience.
And I can't go through that with my family again. I can't.
Not with your family.
My
That you
daughter's
can't
getting
do.
married.
Nope.
I want everyone at the wedding.
Nope, you can't do it.
It's not just my relationship with my sisters.
And you guys saw that cutaway to Lisa, just like Lisa looking, frankly, very uncomfortable at this party. She looks anxious. She's like doing, clapping her hands for no reason. Like those are little things that people do and kind of know maybe they messed up, or they know something's brewing or coming, or, something's going to go down. There's like some little stuff, and she's kind of the queen of that to me. I think I don't know at all, but she seems like someone who's got a lot of anxiety to me. And you see her making big sounds and noises and saying lots of words and using her hands and being very physical to kind of get that stuff out. I'm not a psychologist, but I don't know, I just get that vibe from her.
In the past, when Kathy and I had our issues, I don't get to see my nieces and my nephews either.
You told me that you weren't invited.
I'm going, yeah. I don't want to miss her walking down the
Oh, I
aisle.
don't blame you.
Mo, are you going? I'm not going to the wedding.
Are you going?
No.
Are you going?
No. How can you choose two children over the other? I don't understand that.
That I don't understand.
Paris and Nikki are like...
Okay, so that flashback, which I was watching and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this whole thing. Like there was so much that went on with her and her sisters that we just did not see, or we heard about. But that scene right there, I didn't remember, and that felt like such a real scene with her and the girls. Why I think that they really chose that flashback in particular, not only does it show that when there's a rift, obviously big events get affected, and Kyle has her daughter's wedding coming up. She does not want to ruin it. I totally understand that. But you also get a sense just from that right there that Kathy she plays hard. I really think that flashback made us feel the gravity of this for Kyle even more.
Like my little sisters. So I wouldn't just be losing one person. There's a lot more to lose.
Crystal, I love you in these baby doll dresses. Can you imagine me in one of these?
Oh, let me step in their lion's den.
So out of all of the things to say, or out of all of the things to show Rinna saying, they show a moment where she's totally looking inward. I think they left it in because it's very telling, the situation kind of with, Kathy and Kyle. Rinna's making it all about her. She literally just looked at Crystal's dress and made it all about her. I think that was very on purpose by the editors. What do you guys think?
I love this look on you. Is Dorit not coming?
Yeah.
I saw that it was Jagger's birthday.
Erica sent me a text saying I can't come today. I'm dealing with some personal stuff.
Oh, and you know what? Diana called me on the way here because her baby's been sick, and she said, tell Garcelle I'm so sorry.
Oh. Okay, Garcelle.
So they had to do that quick little thing of running down why a lot of the ladies aren't there. I think they normally would do this in episodes, but I think especially on a finale episode, they kind of want to make sure we know where everyone is and where everyone's head is at. I think if Dorit, Diana, and whoever else didn't show up, I forget now, if they didn't show up, we might be like, oh, is there a reason for it? But I think they just had to quickly tell us, this is what's going on.
Garcelle, I have a word of warning.
What?
On the Bumble. So last night, there was this man that I thought was very nice. He called me and we were talking for 40 minutes. So all of a sudden, the phone went dead. So I texted him and it went green, it didn't go dead. He blocked me. I think he got busted from
For a girlfriend or a wife.
A wife.
For what? And hung up the phone.
Texting a lady.
Yeah.
Or were you
I love they're doing this little scene. I mean, obviously you guys know, if you've watched my videos, you know why they're doing this. It's because the conversation's about to get serious. If they cut straight to the serious conversation, It's not going to feel as contrasted, but they have to have Sutton kind of do this light moment talking about her dating experience and warning Garcelle, you know, sort of thing. And then I love that the reseller of the bags is sitting down. They give him a quick chyron, you know, because he's inserting his 2 cents on this situation. I thought that was so funny. And the music is nice and light and like kind of like going, you know, first it was kind of quiet while she was talking and then now it's back. It's just silly. They're trying to heighten and lighten before they, boom, you guys know what's coming.
You're clumsy with your words and offended her.
I have a fresh look on dating. I'm having fun, being single at 50, and not sure how this is gonna work out for me. I'll report back later.
Okay, so sorry before I said, you know, I didn't know who else was not coming. Sometimes I'm just forgetful. I'm not trying to be shady. It was Erica who can't come. Now, what I do think is really interesting is they're showing the scene. It's fun. This scene so far, the energy has been light, even the stuff between Garcelle and Kyle. Now, I know us as viewers, we don't just want to watch these ladies have fun all the time, but we do kind of like the mix. We like the lightness and we like the kind of darkness and the drama. And I do think we have been missing this element and this light energy for so long. And it's interesting that most of the Fox 4, 5, I'll never get that right, Erica and Diana and Dorit are missing, and the energy is so much lighter. And you can see that Lisa feels very out of place. She does not feel like she's getting along with these ladies quite in the same way, but she's having to kind of get along. And I think they're really showing these light moments because they're like, hey, look what it looks like when all of this sort of alliance isn't together, like forming this wall blocking us from our drama.
Report back later.
Rinna,
Yes.
Kyle told me that you saw Kathy yesterday.
I did.
Oh my gosh, I just love Garcelle, and honestly, I think she's one of our messiest housewives, and I say that with so much love. I love a messy housewife. I don't think the word messy is like a bad word when it comes to this franchise. I think though that Garcelle she just stirs the pot whether she knows it or not, but she just brings stuff up in a certain way where you're kind of like, whoa, like we need to beat around the bush for another 20 minutes before we get there. And Garcelle is just like, nope, mess. I just love her so much. I find her messy in the best way.
Yes, I did. It was good. It's good. It's a good thing.
Okay, so you guys saw music went out and she said, I did.
Yes, I did.
And then sort of like a little like inquisitive, sort of like what is coming music comes in as she keeps talking.
I think overall it was a good thing. It was a good thing to have happen.
Good.
Yeah. How'd you feel?
I felt better because, you know, obviously she apologized and feels like, okay, I can just move on. And
how much do you know about Aspen?
I don't know anything.
You guys weren't there.
Kathy.
I love that Kyle's like, yeah, it's great. I feel great. You know, we're all good. And then Lisa's just like, I am not satisfied with that answer. How can I make this worse? She looks around the room. How much do you know? Because I'm really going to clue you in right now. I mean, if Lisa had just made this about herself, like if Kathy had said a bunch of bad stuff about Lisa and she was just like, yeah, like she said a bunch of mean stuff about me and I can't get over it. But the problem she did with this whole situation, she disguised it as, you know, concern for Kyle and concern for Kathy and that she needs help. She should have just been real and just been like, I don't like what she said about my friends. I don't like what she said about me. That's it. She could have just like gone with the real thing and this wouldn't be such a big deal against her.
You weren't there.
Kathy texted me around like 12:50 that night.
Oh, interesting. I got a text from her at 12:53, which I didn't get till the morning because I had
like, but who's counting, right? Like, so seems like this is really taken over her life. 12:53 to be exact.
Because I had gone to bed. And I had locked myself in the bedroom.
Why?
I was shook because of the behavior that was going on.
Ugh, I love that reaction from Garcelle. It's all of us.
Why?
I think you can handle some words. We've seen you dole them out. We've seen you handle them. Wow.
You felt scared enough to lock yourself in your room?
Oh, yes, I did. I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so the music's silent when Garcelle's doing her reactions to that because obviously her reactions, she's kind of, you know, got the concerned look on her face, but we all know that she's just really thinking like, this is so dramatic.
Dead.
Wow.
Yeah. Just accept the apology and move on. But Rinna can be a bit of a dog with a bone. I'm still kind of shook.
I was really shook. I've never seen me like that. I was shook because of the behavior that was going on.
I feel like Rinna is now more.
I absolutely love that little flashback package. They're like 2 days before, 1 day before, this many hours, and then 20 seconds before. That was so funny. And she's saying the same thing every single time. I think they really missed an opportunity not having the flashback where she's at Crystal's party.
I'm still really upset after what happened in Aspen.
There's a lot of trauma that she's working through from her friend having like a meltdown. Or not her friend, but you know what I mean? Like, see, watching a woman have a meltdown, she has like she said it. She thinks she has PTSD from that. It just takes away, like we're not buying it. By the way, you guys can see in Kyle's confessional, I think they put those flowers in the background to highlight her outfit. They're just too bright, especially for being way back there. They really highlight her outfit, but I do think it was put in post. That's just my personal opinion.
Now more upset about the fact that she had to witness this than looking after me.
So it was good she apologized.
Yeah, but you have to live with this, you know? I think it's something that you and Kathy need to deal with.
Do we have to? No. I'm feeling really uncomfortable.
Okay.
My sister apologized. I have to move on.
I understand. I've tried to be very protective, I think.
No, I know. I just imagine, put yourself in my shoes right now.
I know, Kyle.
It's not any shoes anybody wants to be wearing.
I know.
Like, after a long time.
Okay, so Rinna's like, you've got to deal with this. And basically Kyle's like, I have. We're good. And so they're kind of doing this exchange back and forth and showing Kyle, you know, they're editing this exchange back and forth, showing Kyle like being like, why am I even like dealing with you and dealing with this anymore? And then, you know, Rinna's continuing to repeat herself and sort of just showing, you know, Kyle trying to be strong, but also trying to like be friendly to her friend. I don't know if you guys have had this feeling before where you're just like over someone and kind of what they're doing, but you're like, wait, but there's still love there. Like, I still love them, but like, I'm just over you right now. And so you're still trying to give them grace. You're still trying to be nice to them in the conversation, but you're also just like, I just want to strangle you. And then she says the overprotective thing.
I've tried to be very protective, I think.
So manipulative. She's trying to be like, oh, well, I'm just concerned because I'm concerned for you. When Kyle had just previously 1 second ago said in her confessional, like, I think she's more concerned about how it made her feel than it made me feel. So then you see Kyle's face in the actual moment being like, yes, but no. But she doesn't say that.
Like, after a long time. Like, we've been...
It's hard for her. You guys, it's hard for her. It just is, you know?
That's hard.
I thought the whole...
I couldn't stand that when Lisa was like, it's hard for her, like, just let her go. I thought that was so condescending because she's speaking for her as Kyle's walking away, basically, almost like trying to say, like, guys, don't worry, we've talked in person and, like, it's hard for her. I don't think Kyle was walking away because it's hard for her. I think it's hard for her to listen to Lisa Rinna talk about it. I don't think she's like this Kathy thing has destroyed her. I think she's probably seen way worse from Kathy. They've probably said way worse to each other. They're sisters. That's kind of
I thought the whole ruckus was about dress code.
Because we couldn't hear anything. You couldn't even hear the person next to you.
You okay? I'm sorry. I don't want to be talking about this either. You know?
I just can't.
I know. It's a tricky situation, but I hope she gets the help that she needs. Do you know what I mean? I meant that yesterday.
Lisa is putting me in a worse position. It's not helping me for her to taunt my sister.
It's just crazy because they are having two different conversations here. And I think the editors kind of just let this conversation play out because they want to show us like, this is discombobulated. If you as a viewer are feeling like there's two different conversations going on, Rinna being on one side being like, oh yeah, I understand you guys are just gonna have to work this out. When Kyle's really just saying like, no, my concern now is you. Like Rinna's saying, I know you're concerned about Kathy. And Kyle's like, nope, that's not it. So they're really just letting this scene play out.
It's not helping me for her to taunt my sister. I just
want her to accept the apology and move on. I pray for her that she takes it.
So during Kyle's confessional, they kind of show without any sound that the ladies, you know, Lisa and Kyle are still kind of talking it out. You see Kyle trying to be patient with Lisa. You see Lisa with this, you know, look on her face like she knows it all.
For her to taunt my sister, I just want her to accept the apology and move on.
I think like what's so crazy is that if this information, the same exact words were coming out of like Garcelle's mouth or like even like, I don't know, a Crystal or someone like that, we as an audience might be like, okay, she's meddling, but is there something there? Was there something there? Is it something heavier Kathy needs to look into? But it's just the wrong messenger. I don't know why Lisa doesn't understand that. Like, I don't know if maybe she's just not, if like, the bulb isn't like as bright as it could be. She's playing this character, like we all know that she kind of dramatizes things as a housewife. Like she's playing sort of like a villain, but now she's trying to be a voice of reason. Like it's all over the place. It's just hard to keep up with yourself when you're not being authentic because you're trying to, you know, she's trying to fill all these shoes. If she was truly just like the villain, she'd just be villainous and you know, if she wanted to do that, but now she's trying to be the voice of reason, but she doesn't have a leg to stand on in this arena because she's had her own meltdowns on camera and been not very nice, as Kathy said. So it's just like, it's all over the place. I understand where Kyle is trying to be nice.
He goes, how can I learn from this? How can I be better? How can I grow from this? You know?
Right. Coming up.
Okay, and so then the very last shot of that little exchange, they're just kind of staring at each other, and we know as an audience what they're both kind of thinking. Honestly, I actually don't know what Lisa's thinking. I don't know if she thinks she made a point, but Kyle is definitely doing that thing like, I'm patiently waiting for you to stop talking so I can move out of this conversation. And that's what kind of the standoff look at the very end is doing. The music that's coming in is kind of like the villain music. You know, it's got the little bit of energy to it. It's kind of going behind Lisa, but it just, I don't know, all of it is a little bit all over the place. Them having the two different types of conversations just kills me. It's fun to watch in a way, but also a little bit frustrating as a viewer. You guys, that was it for this scene. Stay tuned for my other scene, the party at Kyle's house, which I thought was just chock full of so much good stuff. Thank you so much for subscribing, for doing all the things. You guys are the best community. I love your comments. Keep them coming, and until next time.
Crystal, I love you in these baby doll dresses. Can you imagine me in one of these?
I feel like Rinna's pushing it.